coffee with your wife.
Okay. But the sooner I get down to police headquarters and sign these statements, the better I'm going to like it.
Just don't make any more accusations against Miles Cavanaugh, all right?
No, I'm not going to. I mean, despite the fact that I'm certain that he is responsible for Gunther's death, I can't prove it. This affidavit I'm signing is about Gunther's whereabouts before he was killed.
Well, I would just like the whole incident to be put to rest along with Gunther as soon as possible.
Well, actually, that newspaper story should punish Cavanaugh pretty well. It'll keep his waiting room from being real filled with people.
You really hate him, don't you?
Well, personally, I can take him or leave him, but Gunther detested the man, and I consider this to be a testimonial to a loyal employee.
Well, we are also going to have to find a replacement for Gunther, and I would like someone with a little more social grace, so I think that I shall screen some people since you're so busy.
Yeah, all right, as long as I get final approval.
Would you like me to get that so you can leave?
No, it's none of your business. They don't get up before noon. Hello? Martine, this is a surprise.
I know your schedule is very busy, Sky, but I'd like to know if I could see you sometime this morning.
Well, may I ask what about?
About your dance company.
Well, as a matter of fact, I've got a meeting to go to now, but, well, I'll be home in about an hour. Why don't you come over then?
All right, I'll be there. Bye-bye. I made the appointment. I hope you're happy.
I am, Cherie. Very, very happy.
Whitney pegged. Part one of my plan is going to come off just as I said it would.
I cannot see Sky Whitney being interested in my dancing for him again.
Of course he's interested. He's probably dying for you to return, only his pompous, self-righteous attitude is preventing him from admitting it.
No, too much has happened.
Martine, you are forgetting that you were this man's primary choice to be his premier ballerina. He created this company just to show you off.
Well, he replaced me once before.
Jody Travis was an afterthought and a poor second choice.
He can import a lean dancer.
He hasn't got the time to go shopping. He's committed himself to this grand opening. And I swear to you, Martine, you are going to be Skylar Whitney's godsend.
And the only time for you to rob his house is when I'm dancing.
It's poetic justice, my love. Poetic justice.
Your desire of revenge will be your undoing, I'm telling you.
You know that just the thought of it delights me. While Skylar Whitney is in his private box with his entourage at the Whitney Theater watching you dance, Collier Wells will be at the Whitney house robbing him as he failed to do in Paris.
If you can get away with it.
Sky will figure out all too quickly what has happened. Believe me, the symmetry will not escape Mr. Whitney.
Your games are too dangerous, Carlo.
My love, I am going to succeed. And the satisfaction is going to be very sweet.
I still think your idea is insane.
No, it's not insane, it's artistic. While you are performing your art, I will be performing mine.
No question about it, huh?
Yep, the lab boys have done their thing. The blood we found in the towel at Bobbie Gerard's apartment matches the sample we have of Gavin Wiley's blood.
Well, we didn't expect Wiley to get very far on that injured leg, did we? He only had to limp half the block to get up to Bobbie Gerard's apartment building, for crying out loud. How convenient for him.
Yeah, but now they're both gone, and we're right back at square one.
Well, isn't there some way we can get some more information on this woman? I mean, if we could get some background on her, we might figure out where she's gone to. Kenny Birdsong and his partner, they interrogated all the tenants in the apartment building. They came up with nothing.
Well, from the few conversations I had with Bobbie, she seems to be pretty much a loner, you know, and I don't mean necessarily by her own choosing.
She's got a record.
Oh, really? I didn't think she was a criminal type.
Nothing major, just juvenile stuff, but still.
Can I take a look at that?
Yeah.
Well, the young Bobbie Gerard was obviously a street kid.
stealing from a fruit stand, disturbing the peace.
She's following in her mother's footsteps. Miss Gerard was famous for hanging around such criminal luminaries as Lenny Bostwick and Jojo Haynes.
Yeah, it must have been a great influence on a young girl trying to figure out what life was all about.
Well, hanging around with types like Bostwick and Haynes is not surprising that she grew up the way she did.
Well, I don't know. Bobbie may have had a rough time as a kid, but she doesn't strike me as being basically a bad person, at least not a criminal type.
You think she just hung around with a bad crowd and she's guilty by association?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, she sure knew how to pick her boyfriends. You know, the last guy she was associated with was none other than Matt Sharkey. Wasn't he that creep that worked at the Rexford Clinic?
Right.
Yeah, and now she's hanging around with Gavin Wiley.
Well, Chief, I am far from convinced that Gavin is a murderer.
No matter what you think, Calvin, the fact is he's taking it on the lam, and apparently Bobbie Gerard is helping him escape.
Well, she's obviously in the process of committing a major crime now, harboring a fugitive.
All right. I want an APB out on Bobbie Gerard and Gavin Wiley. Maybe I can double my chances. Yes. Hold on a second. He's right here. It's for you.
What is it, Helen? Oh, yeah, have him wait there for me, will you? Okay, thank you.
What's up?
Well, Skylar Whitney is on the premises, wants to have a few words from me.
A la-di-da.
Say, if we're finished here, Chief, I'd like to take off if I can.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you know if anything happens.
All right. Catch you later, Cal.
Yeah, later. You know, Chief, I still would really like to hear Gavin Wiley's own explanation of what really went down in the studio that night.
You still don't think your friend killed Gunther in cold blood, huh?
I have my reservations, as do you, obviously.
What makes you think I've got reservations?
Well, you aren't pressing for an indictment, at least not yet.
It's our job just to get the evidence. It's up to the DA to get the indictment.
Well, I hope your wait wasn't too uncomfortable. I was at a meeting.
Well, I hope I didn't yank you away from some priority police business.
Now, excuse me, you're sitting on one of my files.
Oh, pardon me.
Thank you. So, have you come up with anything that might help us in our investigation of Gunther's death?
No, as a matter of fact, my business here is, well, personal.
Oh?
See, I still believe that Gunther would be alive now and recovering from his wounds if Kavanaugh had decided to treat him.
Look, all our information indicates that Dr. Kavanaugh was prevented from helping Gunther.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm not here to rehash all the rest of that stuff. I mean, Gunther is dead. There's no way I'm going to bring him back, and I figured I'd tell you I'm not going to cause any more static about this Kavanaugh thing.
Oh. Well, I think that's a wise decision, Mr. Whitney.
You know, perhaps you could enlighten me on something, though. You made a comment when you were leaving my house last night, something about a plane crash in the Alps.
Well, I was referring specifically to the plane crash that you were involved in. I'm sure you figured that out.
Well, how did you know about that?
Well, it was no great secret. I read about it in one of the newspapers at the time.
That was some years ago.
Well, I have my reasons for remembering, Mr. Whitney.
Would you care to share them with me?
Yeah. You see, I knew a little bit about that man who was killed in the plane crash. Jefferson Brown.
Well, now, what could you possibly know about Jeff Brown?
Well, we both lived in the same city for a while, Washington, D.C.
Well, you sure this is the same man?
It's the same one who crashed in that twin-engine plane in the Alps.
Well, you know, it's funny. I don't remember ever hearing him mention your name.
Well, that's not surprising. Jeff Brown and I weren't exactly friends. As a matter of fact, we were never formally introduced.
Well, then, why all this interest in someone who died a few years ago?
Well, he was a fascinating character, wasn't he? He used to work for the State Department, right?
Yes, I believe he did.
You remember the name of the man who he worked for?
No, I'd have no way of knowing that.
I do. His name was Fowler Wilcox. Does that ring a bell?
No. Well, that's not really surprising. I mean, Jeff didn't talk an awful lot about his work for the government or about his life, for that matter. Well, perhaps that was because I didn't encourage him. I get bored easily.
Yeah, I know.
So, did you meet this man, Wilcox?
Oh, sure. I mean, everybody who lived in Washington, D.C. knew who he was.
Well, I'm still at a loss to understand why you have all this curiosity about this.
Well, we had mutual acquaintances. When he was killed, I was interested.
Well, I was more than interested, Detective. Jeff Brown was a friend of mine. And I was piloting that airplane when we crashed, and, well, I guess in a way you could say that I was responsible for his death. Which is one reason why it's not my favorite topic of conversation.
Look, didn't Jefferson Brown talk to you about his job in the State Department? I mean, it seems to me it must have been a pretty important job to him.
No, as a matter of fact, it seems to me he thought it was just a way to earn the money to pay his rent.
He wasn't a patriot?
Why, if Jeff had any particular political leanings, he never discussed them with me.
Oh, come on, you guys bummed around in Europe together. I mean, you must have been friends.
Well, look, Tyler, I mean, our attitude, mine and his, when we were over there, was vacation time. We were interested in raising a little hell, having a good time. We never discussed politics or art or music or philosophy of life or any of that stuff. We basically talked about money and women, particularly women.
That's odd. You know, my understanding was that you were very close friends.
Well, we hung around with each other for a couple of months, but I wouldn't say that we were very close friends.
Isn't that a contradiction?
You know, after the crash, when I was recuperating in the hospital, I spent a lot of time thinking about Jeff. And I came to realize I didn't know him very well at all. You know, there was an inquest after the accident, and the authorities were asking me much the same questions that you're asking now. And I came to realize I hardly knew him at all. But, well, maybe there's something that you can tell me about.
No, unfortunately, Mr. Whitney, I have no insights into the man. But I'd like to know something from you. Are you positive that you actually saw Jefferson Brown dead?
Of course I am. It's a sight I've been trying to forget for years.
I'm sure you have. Well, if you have any further recollections about the experience, I would really appreciate hearing about it. You can call me here or at home anytime you want. I'll come over to your place anytime.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he will. Come on over and see me, or maybe with the hopes of catching a glimpse of my wife, eh?
That comment doesn't even deserve an answer.
Oh, come on, Detective. Don't be embarrassed. A lot of men find my wife an attractive woman.
You're a fortunate man. She's a very beautiful woman.
Yes, that she is. You can look, Detective, but don't touch. Have a good day now.
I'll be right with you, Nancy.
Okay, don't rush on my account. Is there any place in particular you'd like to have lunch?
Oh, just someplace with fast service. I'd love to have a leisurely lunch with you today, but too much is happening around here right now.
Mm-hmm. Another priority case was added to your list, wasn't it?
Yes.
Any further word about Gavin Wiley?
Well, Calvin Stoner managed to locate his whereabouts.
Oh? Well, why didn't they make an announcement?
He got away again. He's still at large.
Oh, that's too bad.
It seems that a waitress at Sid's Tavern named Bobbie Gerard was harbored.
Bobbie? Bobbie? Why is that familiar?
I don't know. Anyway, she was harboring him, but by the time Calvin got to her apartment, they'd taken off.
Well, do you have any leads?
Not yet. Mallory put out an APB for both of them. You know, he's not doing himself any good playing hide and seek with the law.
Yeah. Honey, you know that I've been assigned to cover this story for the paper. So is what you just told me confidential, or is it for the press as well?
A release is being prepared right now with that information. It's going to be handed out in the press room shortly, so feel free to use it.
Okay. Mike, how do things look for Wiley at this moment, I mean, as far as you're concerned?
With the evidence at hand, I'm obligated to bring the case before the grand jury. Delaying any longer would be irresponsible.
And how do you think they'll rule?
I don't think they have any choice but to indict Gavin Wiley for homicide.
called earlier. Your husband is expecting me.
Oh, yes, he told me you were coming. Please come in.
Oh, I don't want to be in your way.
Oh, no, it's all right. Please join me in the living room.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry it took me so long to answer the door, but my maid Chrissy is off, and of course, you know what happened to Gunther.
Yes, I do know, and I'm sick about it.
Oh, were you and Gunther close?
The distress I feel has to do with Gavin Wiley.
Oh, yes. I'm sure it was a shock to spend so much time with that man and then find out that you were in love with a potential murderer. I mean, it's a good thing that you didn't have any serious arguments with him.
If Gavin did kill that swine Gunther, I suppose he deserved it.
Is that why you came to see my husband? Do you want him to hire a lawyer for Gavin?
No. I'm here to see your husband on a business matter.
Oh, well, then maybe I can save you some time. I mean, I am his wife, and I take an active part in all his business affairs.
No, it's all right. I want to talk to him personally, if you don't mind. I'll come back.
Oh, no, he should be home in a few minutes.
Oh, in that case, I'll wait just 1 minute.
Okay. So, would you like to see the house? I could give you a tour.
Oh, no, thank you. I think I saw quite enough of it at your wedding.
Oh, the wedding. Oh, what a party. It's too bad you can't have a party like that every night, you know. It was so wonderful, wasn't it?
Yes.
And the honeymoon was great, too. We didn't sleep very much, but it was great.
I'm happy for you.
The only problem was the honeymoon wasn't long enough. But my husband was very busy. But he promised me that he would take me to the Alps for a second honeymoon.
How nice.
Yeah. Oh, we're so happy. My husband is so good to me. You know, there's a big difference between being a man's wife and being his mistress.
I think the minute is over.
Hi, baby.
Hello, dear. Hello, Martine. It's a pleasure to see you again.
Sky, you just saved me from another trip.
Well, I'm sorry. I was at a business meeting. It couldn't be helped.
Some people never change.
So what can I do for you? Oh, would you like some coffee while we talk?
No, I'd like to get right to the point, if I may.
Of course.
Sky, are you in the business and in the market for a lead dancer?